do massage. And I used to do chair massage up on the mountain in a little town in this eclectic shop. And across from this eclectic shop, across the street, was a coffee shop, kind of like this one. And the manager that I worked for had become good friends with the owner and operator of the coffee shop. And so one Saturday when I was doing chair massage, my manager said, after work, let's just pack up, get everything put away, and go across the street and join the lady over there for coffee. And I wasn't a coffee drinker, so I thought, okay, this will be fun. This was long before I became a storyteller. I'm like, okay, that sounds like fun. So you would enter the coffee shop just like you would here through a door up there, and back here was a sofa that went this way and one that went this way. And so what I realized was the two sofas were filling up with other people we knew. And people sitting around, and I was sitting at the end of this sofa, and the owner of the coffee shop was sitting on the arm of the sofa, the couch that I was sitting on. And what I realized was, and again, this is before I became a storyteller, or admitted to being a storyteller, we were all voluntarily taking turns telling our own personal stories about how our pet was the best pet in the world. I don't know how that conversation got going, but it did. So by the time it got to the owner of the coffee shop, she started her story, and just to give a little bit of background, she's probably in her 50s, maybe late 50s. And she was originally from Connecticut. And she said that when she was growing up, they always had cats in her home, indoor, outdoor cats. And she said when she was a teenager, this one particular cat took up at their house. And they really never knew where he came from. They always figured that maybe he came from a campground, that maybe somebody had thrown out or he had gotten away and showed up at their house. And she kind of elbowed me and she said, down here I think you call them Maine Coon cats. Where I come from, we call them Connecticut Coon. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Surprised we don't call them Carolina Coon, but, you know, whatever. So she said, we always had a ritual in our house with whatever said cat we had at any given time. And she said, you know, if you have an indoor-outdoor cat, you know what kind of ritual I'm talking about. The gift? Are any of you cat owners? Do you understand what the gift is if it's an indoor-outdoor cat? That's why my lovely stays inside. And she said, any given cat, my mom had a ritual. And that ritual was with the gift that the cat would scratch on the front door. Mom would open up the door and there would be the gift that the cat would drop. And my mom would let out a blood-curdling scream. The cat would run, the door would slam, and all would be good. Yes.
Well done.
Well, not yet. And she said when I was a teenager, we had this Connecticut Coon. And she said the ritual had continued with my mom and this beautiful cat. And she said one day, the scratch came. The door opened. And she said, my mother let out this blood-curdling, awful scream and yelled for me to come down out of my room from upstairs. She said I was a teenager at the time. And she said I went running down the stairs. And she said I looked. My mother still had the door open. The cat was still standing there. And usually, she said, at any given time, the gift would be a baby rabbit, a squirrel, a snake, whatever. She said on this day, with this particular cat, the gift was not a baby rabbit. It was not a squirrel. It was not a snake. but the neighbor's toy poodle. And she said, my mother said, you go get your father right now. You go get your father right now, and we're going to bury this thing out back because we ain't going to talk about it anymore. Well, now I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, as this woman's telling this story, I'm thinking, I love cats. I'm okay with dogs, but I love cats. And I'm so sorry to say this, but for a split second, as a cat lover, my brain said, justice. Because let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, here's the universe. And in this universe, we say, oh, I'm so sorry. My beautiful golden retriever, who never hurts anybody, has killed your cat. And we're supposed to live with that. Or at least in my mind as a cat owner, we're supposed to live with that. But on this day, for me, the universe went, pew, and the cat had killed the dog. And I'm thinking, wonder what would drive a cat to do such a thing. Now, in my mind, a Maine Coon can get up to about 30 pounds, which I am told is bigger than the dog we have at home, who weighs about 28 pounds. And I'm thinking, what would drive a cat to do that? So like I said, I was doing massage at the time, and I did massage for this elderly lady. And we had become friends, and she was a dog and cat lover. And I told her this same story, and what my question in my mind was, and on the day I told her, she raised up from the massage table and she said, I'm going to tell you why that cat killed that dog. I said, please do. I said, because I've got my ideas. Maybe it was feral, maybe it was used to hunting. They had been bred to hunt, my understanding. She said, no. She said, those little toy poodles, they are yappy little dogs. And she said, I know what happened. That dog barked so much in the neighbor's yard that the cat just couldn't take it anymore. I thought, okay. And then all of a sudden I started getting pictures in my mind about this big cat going through the hedge, stalking. So a couple of years ago, after not doing massage anymore, or maybe I was still doing massage for the same lady who told me that story, I showed up at her retirement home. And there was a woman standing outside the retirement home, and she had a dog about this big and about this tall holding it. And I thought, oh, I know what that is. I haven't actually seen one up close, but I have a picture of what the cat looks like. Now we're going to get a picture of what the dog looks like. And I thought, I'm going to get this owner too. So I walked over and I said, is that a toy poodle? And she goes, why, yes, it is. I said, oh, I'm a cat lover. And I said, I've got this great story about a cat who takes out one of those. And I got the response I thought I was going to get. Oh my God! And so that's how I figured out how a Maine Coon, a cat, how the universe could turn and be in the favor of a cat lover. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a true story. So I hope no one was offended.